The 2020 Toyota Supra. Thousands of videos have been made about this car. Hopefully I can show you something different today. Most of the videos have shown a disappointing side to the car because it's being made by BMW. So why? Where did it all go wrong? Well, let's take a look. This is the concept FT1 that came out in 2015. This is absolutely stunning, and this is what everybody was expecting. So the pride for the Supra at this time was absolutely huge. Then we heard this. Toyota and BMW were going to be in a collaboration using a B58 engine, and the Supra was going to share the same architecture platform as the Z4 BMW. This was a small letdown for me, but I was still 100% certain that it would have a Toyota engine in the car. Then came the leaks of the Nürburgring testing, followed by the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and a new shaped Supra with a BMW B58 engine. This is where my pride of everything Toyota and the mighty Supra brand came crashing to the ground. Myself and many others alike would hit rock bottom. You see, I had come to the conclusion in my own head that this was just a Z4 BMW with a Supra shell dropped on top. Why would Toyota give their flagship sports car brand to BMW to build? Over the next couple of months, I started doing a bit of research to see if I could accept this Frankenstein Supra. Things got a little bit better when the Supra was officially released at the Detroit Motor Show in January 2019. The car looks amazing. It is for sure a Toyota. The chassis was co-developed with BMW, not just solely done for the Z4. This made a huge difference in my eyes. The gearbox is a control item. It's not built by BMW or Toyota, it's built by ZF, or Friedrichshafen. The ZF plant is in a place called Saarbrücken in Germany, but it's also manufactured by the Chrysler Group in Greycourt, South Carolina, and it's labelled Torque Flight under that brand. The gearbox is in everything from Alfa Romeos, Lambos, Aston Martins, Volkswagens, and lots of BMWs. The box weighs 78 kgs or 192 pounds, so it's a little bit heavy, but it's extremely strong, and it's definitely proven. I mean, if it's in a heavy Jeep SRT, then it's definitely going to be able to take this type of weight in the Toyota Supra. The diff is BMW unit that has an electric motor as an actuator to control lockup and cornering. It had a lot of height, but there was a recall on the diff in 2016. The diff is in the whole BMW M lineup. It should be a good diff. The suspension and brakes are all BMW, and whilst they should work fine, I hope Toyota has made changes to the settings to make it feel more like a Toyota. All this said, we can expect a great driver's car from the Supra. This short wheelbase, wide track and 50-50 weight distribution are a perfect recipe for a great track-focused car with good looks and some reasonably fat rubber on it as well. 275s in the rear and Michelin Pilot Sports. 19-inch wheels. The brakes are reasonably capable. All in all, this is not really where the Supra's gone wrong. This is going to be a pretty good car. Quite an impressive car. So, what are we all so disappointed about? Well, let's take a look at the engine. Probably where you're expecting me to slag this car off and say this engine is no 2JZ. Well, not quite, but there is a but. Let me first start by saying that this engine is a magnificent piece of engineering, and it's a very capable platform. The BMW B58 engine was introduced in 2015, and it's a 3-litre inline 6-cylinder single twin scroll turbo, water-to-air intercooler, forged crankshaft and rods, and a slightly long stroke to aid in low-down torque before the turbo comes on. This engine is not perfect. Have a look at this picture here. The timing chain is on the back of the engine, not the front. So in order to change the chain when it does need to be, you have to pull the whole engine and gearbox out. The closed deck block design that everybody keeps going on about, that's basic standard stuff. Everybody makes closed blocks. BMW just stupidly made this open block for the N54, N55. Now they're just trying to make a better block than the Lemon that they made in the past. By far though, the biggest disappointment with using this engine is that it is not Toyota. After all, this is the brand Supra we're talking about here. This is bragging rights. The B58 is going in some of the new Lexus models, as well as being a part of the B family of BMW engines that's in everything from 4-cylinder turbos to diesel SUVs that are using the same petrol block. So what could have Toyota used? Well, how's about this, the V35A FTS from the 2019 Lexus LC500. It's a 3.5-litre V6 quad-cam quad VVTi 24-valve twin-turbo twin water-to-air intercoolers, 416 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque, ultra-high-tech monster made in-house at Toyota. Have a look at this. Straight from Toyota, this is a diagram of Toyota's new global architecture and shows us the future of Toyota for the next 10 years. This is every new engine, gearbox and hybrid system for the future. The new engines are at the bottom and displayed from smallest capacity on the right to largest capacity on the left. You can clearly see the 3.5-litre V6 twin turbo, but there are two larger engines after it. This is most probably the engine for the LC500 F Sport, and if I could take a guess, it may be a 4-litre V8 twin turbo. Probably not suited to the Supra, but the engine that seems to be the obvious step forward for the Supra brand is the 3.5-litre V6 twin turbo. No, it's not a straight 6, but it has 500cc more than the 2JZ and the B58, and it's very high tech. It has the same water-to-air intercooling as the B58 and also direct and port injection. Then there's the power, 416 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque. That makes 81 horsepower more than the B58 and 77 foot-pound of torque. This is where the natural progression of the Supra should have been. Let's take a look at some of the old Supras and their power figures. Here's the 1967 2000 GT with 153 horsepower. Here's the 1988 7M GTE 3-litre turbo Mark III Supra with 266 horsepower. And here's the JZA80 Mark IV with 325 horsepower. This came out in 1993, which is only 5 years after the Mark III, and the horsepower level has dramatically jumped. Let's skip ahead 28 years into the future. This is where we are now, and we have gained just 10 horsepower, which leaves the Supra underpowered to the Renault Megane, and it puts it in the same region as hot hatches rather than playing with the big boys. We all know that the B58 is definitely capable of a lot more horsepower, and there's a lot of chips you can buy that can up it straight away to about 403 horsepower. But this is obviously where Toyota saw a safe power level of the B58 engine, or they would have put it up to the same as the Z4. Now, if you compare this to the V6 twin-turbo 3.5-litre that they've rated at 416 horsepower, this is where Toyota sees this is a safe horsepower level for that. So obviously it's a much more superior engine, and in the long run you're always going to get a lot more tuning out of that extra 500 cc's. In conclusion, I really like this car. It's just a pity that all the pride and respect won't fall on Toyota. In fact, I think that BMW fans have found new pride in their idolised manufacturer. And to finish, would I buy this car? Yes, this is a great car.